Let's talk about, so what's up guys, I wanted to talk about something that I think needs to be spoken about. So I was looking at Jonathan Jolie's TikTok video he posted yesterday, and the one thing that didn't make sense to me was the fact that the comment section was basically filled with comments with people fighting about, Edie being trans. Some people think she is, people think she's not. It was just, the comment section was dominated by these comments, people saying Edie's trans, Edie's not, It's just like, people don't, and it's like, make that make sense, right? Why, it just doesn't make sense, the fact that people are posting comments about that relate to Edie being trans on videos that don't even particularly relate to that. It just, it's something that, I don't understand why people feel the need to post comments about Edie being trans on videos that don't relate to that, and that is a point that I've made, before. I have said I don't understand why people post comments about Edie being trans on videos that don't relate to that. At the end of the day, I just feel like people shouldn't be focusing so much on that, and should be focusing more on, the things that are more important, because the way I see it, Edie being trans isn't that important. What is important, is that Edie and her three siblings are, her three siblings, are being exploited for money, and are being used for content basically every single day. And the way you got to think about it, right, you look at Alessia and you look at Andrea, they're both too young, and I would even say that Amelia and Edie are also too young to really kind of understand that they're being exploited, and, as simple as that, like they're not old enough to really kind of understand that their parents are just exploiting them and using them for money, which is the saddest thing about this. I am angry, I'm angry because it feels like people are not focusing on the things that they should really be focusing on, and it feels like people are focusing on things that are not really that important in the grand scheme of things. Because the way I see it, I don't care one iota about Edie being trans. I don't give a damn about whether she's trans or not, because I don't think that's something that's majorly important. I don't think that's something that's massively important. It's not something that people really need to be focusing on that much. People need to be focusing more on the fact that Edie, Amelia, Alessia and Andrea are all being exploited. That's what people need to be focusing on. People should be calling Jonathan, should be posting comments calling Jonathan out for the way that he exploits his kids. Not continuously posting comments about Edie being trans. That's what I want to see. I want to see more people hauling these parents out for the way they exploit their kids. This is what we need to see. We need to see more people hauling these parents out for the way that they're exploiting their kids. Because it feels like not enough people are really doing that. Not enough people are really hauling them out for exploiting their kids. I wonder what their reactions would be if their comment sections were just filled with comments, people telling them to stop exploiting their kids, Jesus. I think that would have an impact, but, I think, as I said, it's just frustrating that people are focusing so much on Edie being trans, because I don't think that people really need to be focusing so much on that. I feel like people need to sort of turn their attentions away from that a little bit, and not focus on that so much. It's the best, probably the most sensible thing to do. It's like, focus on the things that are more important. Don't focus on the things that are not that important. That's what I'm saying. It's just focus on the things that are more important. That's the best thing to do. It's not about focusing on things that are not important. It's about focusing on things that are, that are more important than Edie being trans. People don't need to be arguing about that. People don't need to be getting into disagreements about that. People don't need to be commenting on that. It's not important. Edie being trans just isn't and never will be important. What is more important is the fact that Edie and her siblings have basically been being exploited for the past God knows how long. And that's what people really need to be focusing on, or should be focusing on more than what they're focusing on right now. I'm not saying that people are wrong. I'm just saying that people should save the trans child comments for videos that actually relate to that, rather than post comments about Edie being trans on a video that doesn't even relate to that, because it's make sense. How does it make sense to post comments about Edie being trans on a video that doesn't even relate to that? This is what I'm struggling to get an understanding of here. I think, when you look at it, you can't help but feel sorry for Tony Jodie kids, because they've never had a single ounce of privacy in their lives, every single part of their lives up until this point has basically been broadcasted online for public consumption. And no child should have to put up with that. No child should ever have to put up with every single part of their lives being broadcasted online for public consumption. But sadly, that's something that so many, these days, so many kids are having to put up with. So many kids are having to put up with having, every single part of their lives broadcasted online for public consumption. And that's one of the biggest parts, biggest reasons why I don't agree with what, with what these family vloggers do. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm so against what they do, because it just feels like they share a lot of things online that they probably shouldn't be sharing online. They do, it's fair to say that, I don't think it's unfair for people to have a negative opinion on what these family vloggers do. I don't think it's wrong for people to have a negative opinion on what they do. I think it's perfectly fine for people to have a negative opinion on what they do. And I think the more people that have a negative opinion on it, the better, because that shows that people can actually see that what these family vloggers are doing is wrong. At the end of the day, they shouldn't be allowed to be making money off their kids. And it's sadly something that so many parents are doing, is making money off their kids. And it's sad that YouTube are so okay with that. It's sad that YouTube are allowing this to happen. But this is the problem here. It's YouTube that are basically allowing these parents to exploit their kids. And they should have done, they could have done something about it ages ago. But sadly, the exploitation of kids is something that has completely gotten out of control when it comes to YouTube. It's just so bad. And it's like, I am angry. As I said, I'm angry purely because it feels like people are not focusing on the things that they should really be focusing on. They're not, they're not focusing on the things that are more important. So it's like, why does a child's sexuality and gender identity matter that much to people? So what if that kid is trans? Live and let live. That's what it's about. It's about live and let live. Just let Edie be who she wants to be, if that's who she is. It's just, I think people need to take their attentions away from Edie being trans and stop focusing on that so much, and actually focus on calling Jonathan out for the way that he exploits his kids. As he deserves. I'm not gonna have people, as I said in my video earlier, I'm not gonna have people coming at me and telling me that people like Jonathan Jodie are not exploiting their kids, because that's exactly what he is doing. Same with the Inhams. I'm not gonna have people coming at me telling me that the inums are not exploiting their kids, but that's exactly what they do. Again, that's exactly what they do. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to apologise for saying something that's basically the truth, which is that the inums are basically exploiting their kids and are, I guess you could say, making a pretty decent amount of money from doing that, you know. And as you think about it, right, you've got to think about the amount of money these parents are actually making from putting their kids out there online. That's what's so sad about it, is the amount of money that these parents are actually making from putting their kids out there online. You know, they're making, they're making way more money than they would be if they weren't putting their kids out there online. We know for a fact that if a lot of these parents weren't putting their kids out there online, they wouldn't be getting anywhere near as much money as they wouldn't be making anywhere near as much money as they're making now. You know, it's like, I honestly don't know what else to say. But it's about time that we try to end child exploitation. But it's a bit hard to do that when you've got people who seem to support child exploitation. That's what you would call these people. That's what you would say about these people that defend these family vloggers. Is that they're basically supporting the exploitation of innocent children. They're basically condoning it. And that's more shameful than anything else, is the fact that people are willing to condone what these family vloggers are doing. And are actually supporting what they do. Because realistically, as at the end of the day, nobody should be supporting what they do. Nobody should be supporting parents who are making money off their kids, which is exactly what a lot of them are doing. You know, which is why I love when people say, oh, you're just jealous of these family vloggers, because, do you know what, right? Why would I be jealous? You know, at the end of the day, they can have all the money in the world, and I would be jealous of them. As you look at where that money's coming from. You know, this is what someone said to me the other day. Somebody said that I was jealous of the inums because they're making money. But it's like, why would I be jealous? Because at the end of the day, the inums are making money purely from putting their kids out there online and sharing it, putting every single part of his lives, sharing every single part of his lives, out there online for public consumption. You know, that's how they're making that money. They're making that money from putting their kids out there online and, basically broadcasting every single part of their kids' lives. And people are actually supporting that and saying it's okay for them to be doing that, and saying it's actually fun, it's actually acceptable for them to be making money off their kids and basically broadcasting every single part of their kids' lives for public consumption. You know, there's no, when it comes to, the IFAM and things like that, there's no point trying to fight with people like them, because they will never accept they're in the wrong. They will always act like they are always right about every single thing, which they're not. And I think a lot of the time the IFAM do hate to be proven wrong. You can tell that the IFAM are the sort of people who do hate to be wrong on anything. They always have to be right about everything, and that's what causes a lot of problems. And I've said this in the past. They need to stop acting like they're always right about everything. They need to realise that they're not always right about it. That's what you gotta say. That's what you gotta look. And that has to be said. I am shocked at the fact that people are willing to defend what these family vloggers do and how they're making a living. There's not defending that. It's not condoning that. It's just purely wrong. And that's all I really have to say on the matter. To be honest, I don't really have anything else to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you when I want soon. Bye bye.